आपको याद है पिछले सप्ताह हम सब ने देखा एक लंबी प्रक्रिया इम्पीचमेंट ट्रायल की और इस तरह एक ऐतिहासिक अवसर रहा जहां राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप दूसरी बार इम्पीच हुए और इस बार भी ये इम्पीचमेंट अपने अंजाम तक पहुंच नहीं पाया। कमी रही उन संख्या वाले मतों में जिसको लेकर राष्ट्रपति इम्पीच हो पाते। क्या महसूस करते हैं ट्रंप सपोर्टर्स, विशेष करके ट्रंप के समर्थन में एक कोएलिशन बनाने वाले प्रोफेसर A.D. अमर से हमने बातचीत की, उनके इम्प्रेशंस इस दूसरी इम्पीचमेंट ट्रायल के बारे में। आइए जानें।
This is the impeachment that was hushed up in matter of a day in the House without any witness, without any defendant's attorney or the opposite counsel attorney or any kind of searching for facts, more so than trying to investigate and pull out the fact. The desire was to impeach.
Okay, so let me interrupt you here, quick brief interruption to suggest you said there were no evidence, which was partly true, or maybe it was true because we didn't have any witnesses, but they did show a lot of video footage, and some of the videos were edited in such a way that it kind of pointed a sort of suspicion whether he knew about it, whether it was direct his words which led people to move towards Capitol Hill. But these images were very, very disturbing. And what do you make out of the impact which it made, not just on the people sitting in that august house, but sitting at home watching so many people actually...
Look at, I can quote here Michael Van Der Veer, who was the President Trump's attorney, defense attorney during the trial in the Senate. And he pulled out the comments that the House used, and those comments said he was simply asking them to come on, and this is the battle for survival, and we cannot be a country if this we did not fight, something like that.
Yeah, I know. I remember a lot of statements where they were actually insightful, and some of them were saying that I would like to punch him, and even one actor was shown having said that he is probably going to kill the president and things like that. So, yeah.
You mean vice president? But this is not how trials are held. Lopsided, one-sided fully. If someone from Trump's side was there, invited to defend, like Michael Van Der Veer did, then he would have shown that this was only taken out of context, not showing the whole statement, but pulling out the words that you wanted to pick and made your case. And that is not how anywhere trials are held. Not even in a municipal court where a summons for driving fast is presented, they will not conduct it.
Okay. So Professor, basically what I gather from you is you feel that in the name of upholding the democratic values, what they did was undemocratic on some level, is one perception which you probably are conveying. In addition to this, while President Biden talked about unifying the nation, how do you see at the beginning of his presidency this episode of second historical impeachment trial for Trump, how it is likely to play out in unifying the nation?
See, that is a very important point you raised here. Biden had said several times that he will unite the nation. And uniting two diverse groups like America has become or is requires compromise, requires give and take, and requires negotiation. You can't just say, I want $1.9 trillion for my programs, and I want you to come and talk to me or negotiate with me. And then at the end, you say, okay, whether you agree or not, I am going to have $1.9 trillion infused in the economy. That's not how you unite. Then another important point about uniting. We saw here 74 million voters went for Trump, and a few more million votes went for Biden. That's okay. Now, there, if we statistically take the two samples, one 74 million and one, let's say 77, 78 million, there is going to be statistically no difference. The two groups will be considered identical. So when America is divided right in the middle, you can't just go and not listen to those 74 million people and
So-
ignore them
Right.
altogether.
Professor Amara, I think this is how democracy functions. Probably there is a polarization, then the one party who is leading or ruling, they behave as if others are non-existent in some way. But leaving this part here and moving very briefly to seek your comment on the recent article in Times Magazine, which also suggested that there was some sort of an understanding between high-tech companies and some of the NGOs, and in the name of holding democratic values, they did act in a way which was clandestine in some way.
See, you are right. But New York Times, and I have heard the same kind of comments from other agencies as well. They're talking about it now. They didn't bring it up when it had some meaning. And that in itself shows bias. I also saw, for example, in case of Albert Bourla, who is the CEO chairman of Pfizer, why did he come out a week after the election to say the vaccine is ready? If he had made this statement a week before the election, the result would have been different. So large businesses did play a role in it, and role was, for whatever reason, seems to be against Trump.
Okay, so
And
now,
same way,
right.
CBS, when CBS showed the plan for how we are going to distribute vaccine, they again showed in the 60-minute only on the Sunday after the Tuesday's election. If they showed it on the Sunday before Tuesday's election, even that would have made a big difference. So, I mean, when you look at all these things, then you say, well, there was some kind of coalition between several groups, or happened to be, or looks like, and somehow I hope one day someone is going to bring out the facts and let us know who was right.